This is the Samsung Galaxy A22 4G disassembly. If you need any tools, there are links in the description. First, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Next, we need to apply heat to the backplate using a hairdryer or a heat gun so we can loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then we're going to use a plastic pry tool to pry the backplate off. So here's a look at the plastic backplate. There are 17 Phillips screws which need to be removed. Once the screws are removed, the fingerprint scanner cable can be disconnected. Now we need to place a plastic pry tool in between the back housing and the frame of the screen and run it along the edges and pop the catches. Once the back housing is free from the mid-frame, we can lift it up and remove it. The back housing itself is plastic as well. And there are a few antenna flex cables on the back housing. On the other side, we can see the graphene film over here, which helps transfer heat. And we can see the loudspeaker located over here on the bottom. The fingerprint scanner and power button is located right over here. One more thing to note, the power button clicker over here is the same part as this flex cable over here for the fingerprint reader. And it's not like the Galaxy A22 5G, where there's a flex cable for the fingerprint reader and a separate one for the power button itself. So if this flex cable over here were to be cut or damaged, your power button and fingerprint reader would both not work. Now the battery cable needs to be disconnected. Once that's disconnected, we can go ahead and disconnect the rest of the cables. This flex cable connects the main board to the subboard on bottom as well as the screen. There's a wire cable over here in the corner, we can pop it off. And then we can disconnect the front facing camera cable and remove that. Now we can lift up and remove the main board. The camera assembly is located right over here, and the cables for the cameras can be disconnected by just popping them off. There are rubber gaskets around the connectors over here, and the LED flash is located right over here. On the other side of the motherboard, the SIM card and memory card reader is located right over here. The other two camera connectors are located right here, and the secondary microphone is located over here on top. There's also a graphite pad over here on top of the shield. As far as a proximity sensor goes, this phone doesn't have one, so it uses a virtual proximity sensor, which is basically using the front-facing camera in place of an actual proximity sensor. Peeling off the graphite pad reveals the thermal pad over here, which sits on top of the processor, and the chip over here. Now another thing I noticed once I removed the main board, there is yet another difference between the A22 4G and the A22 5G, and that difference is a 3D graphite layer over here underneath the main board, which helps transfer heat. Now the A22 5G didn't have this 3D graphite layer over here. Instead it had some more thermal paste and copper tape on the back shield. Now we need to pop off this wire cable over here on the bottom. And then there's one Phillips screw located over here holding the subboard down. Once the screw is removed, we can lift up and remove the subboard. The charger port is located right over here, and the headphone jack is located right over here. On the other side, we can see the main microphone located right over here. So when it comes to removing the battery, there are no pull tabs to help you pry it off. So you're either going to have to apply some heat to the front side of the phone using a hairdryer or a heat gun so you can loosen up the adhesive underneath the battery, making it easier to pry it off. Or you can use some isopropyl alcohol and apply some around the sides of the battery and let it sit there for about a minute so it eats away at the adhesive underneath, making it easier to pry the battery off. Here's a better look at the battery. Alright, let's take a look at what's left. There's the vibrator motor located right over here. And there's a liquid damage sticker located right over here, which is the white sticker, and it sits underneath the SIM tray. The earpiece speaker is located over here on top, and it's held down with some adhesive, so if you wanted to pry that off, just heat it up a little bit, and then you'd be able to pry it off. And finally, the clickers for the volume keys are located over here on this flex cable. So if you want to replace that, you just have to peel it off. So when it comes to replacing the screen, most screen replacements will come with this mid-frame assembly pre-attached. However, if you get a screen replacement, which is just the screen itself and no mid-frame, and you're planning on replacing it that way, at this point, you would have to heat up the front of the phone where the screen is, so you can loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then you pry your old screen off the mid-frame, get your new screen, apply new adhesive, making sure you run your cable back through the slit or opening over here in the mid-frame, and then you apply your new screen back to the mid-frame, and reassemble the phone. As far as repairability goes on this phone, I give it a 9 out of 10. Taking the phone apart isn't too difficult, but I wish they would offer pull tabs for prying the battery off. Now it's time to put the phone back together. Once all the screws are back in place, apply new adhesive and reapply your backplate. Flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.